Alright guys, Fraser from Families for Veterans. Just thought I'd do a quick update. I thought it was going to be into Monday, but obviously not now. As you see, it's quite swollen out. So yeah, it's been a crazy couple of days. Thinking a lot, doing a lot of thinking. Not overthinking, because it's been hard as well, because obviously with Bella having 14 years today and you can't be there for her, and I know she'll probably be needing me and I can't be there, and I feel bad that I'm not there, but I'm where I am at the moment, because I need to be. It's one of the things I need to start listening about when my body tells me that you need to go into hospital, then go into hospital. It's, you can't sit back and be the big one, and you're not good to anyone else or helping anyone else. If you're feeling the way you are, you're feeling low and feeling like you just want to give up. It's not that you want to give up, but having that pain severely every day, it's hard going. But I'm now in 6 days in hospital. Obviously there's more things coming out with my diabetes, which seems to be getting worse and getting controlled now, which is the main thing. But I would just like, again, thank everybody for all the comments and their good wishes as well. But I want to thank folk who have reached out for some advice. Even though I've been in here, I will always still tell you to reach out, because at the end of the day, it's taking that responsibility, knowing you need that help for addiction or PTSD or mental health, and taking that first step is a major, a crucial part of your life, is asking for help. I know personally for myself, it was so hard to ask for that help, so hard to say, right, listen, I can't go on like this anymore, and take responsibility for myself. And to be fair, being in hospital it brings a lot back from when I was an addict myself. How I treated the nurses, how I blamed the doctors, how I blamed the system. And to be frankly honest, it was me who was creating all the destruction around me, and creating all the blaming others. I was really good for that, and manipulating, to get what I wanted, and which is quite nice now. The fact is, I interact with the nurses, I talk to them, I'm open and honest about my addiction, and if this was a few years ago, that I would have been an arsehole to them, and they don't deserve that kind of treatment. And I seen it when I came into ED, you call it, and you see people drunk abusing the nurses, and fuck, that was me fucking years ago, and I'm not proud of it, I'm certainly not proud of it, but people struggle and people do daft things, and we can't always blame the addictions. Addictions make you into somebody who you don't want to be, and the worst thing about addictions is when you want to stop mentally, you want to stop, your heart's in it, you want to stop, your body's not in it, your body's telling me to give me more, and potentially if you don't listen to your body and do a right treatment, you will die, potentially. I've seen people saying, I'm just going to go cold turkey. Worst thing I ever done myself was go cold turkey. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone whatsoever, and that would be the advice I would give. I personally been there, and it's really scary. It puts you in really hell places. Hi Haggis, Bob, how you getting on? But I know people who are watching, going through as a lot in recovery at the moment, early recovery, like myself. 10 months is early recovery. There's no cure, there's no you're down at 10 years and it's a success. One day it can only take one thing to bring you back down, and every day majority of people experience that. You face your triggers every day. Majority of people face it every day, and it's how you react to that situation, how you the environment around you as well, keeping positive, having positive people in your life is a massive part. Having negative people who sell you drugs or encourage you to go out for a night out or whatever, they're not the people to have around you when you're trying to early recovery. And the choice for me was I got up and went to Liverpool, and that was for me because I was around an environment of people who were in the same boat as me, and I could go to them when I felt like I needed to have a drink or anything. I think it happened once in Bridge House, and I reached out to a fellow client and said to him at 3 a.m, listen, I'm planning to go and get a drink because I couldn't handle it. And that was the best thing I done, was actually ask him to come and get me and sit with me, because I didn't want to go down that route of drinking every day. And you seen that video I posted yesterday, that was a year ago, and look at the state of me then. And I posted that to show people what addiction does to you. You know, I'm sitting in camera saying like that's what you do with your beers. No, you don't. After that camera's finished, you go back to the shop and you buy more, you know. And I watched it in disgust, but then I'm watching it saying this could help somebody who can see me now, and who sees that person then, you know, because it could help them in the recovery. Some people will not tell you they're in recovery. Some people will go into recovery and not want to tell people because they feel ashamed or they're nervous. And the big thing is, people go in first time in recovery do struggle to pick up the program and so on. I did. I totally blagged my first recovery. I'm not going to lie. My mum paid, I think it was about 10,000 for a 4-week rehab, and I told them everything they wanted to hear. Did I know what I was telling them? No, I didn't. And years down the line, I'm here. You know, it took me to make the decision to go to Liverpool. The 15th of January, I went to my GP and says, listen, I can't go on like this. I can't keep destroying my life, destroying people around me and pushing people away I loved. You know, it's hard, it does, it still gets to you this day. And I went into the GP just hoping they were going to give me diazepam and go back to it. And she says, no, I'm not going to give you anything, but you need to go to A&E. And I thought about it, but in my head I was like, no, I need a drink. And I'm like, no, I don't need a drink. So I went to hospital on the 15th of January. I went into Cross House Hospital. And I genuinely thought they were going to be arseholes with me, because that's the way I presumed it. And they weren't. I told them what I was going to do. I picked up the phone to Tom Harrison House, and I was going to get in 7 days later. And that was the best decision I made ever. And I got a 7-day detox, and I went from Cross House to Liverpool, and it was the best decision I ever made, you know. I mean, if people who have known me all the years, and as a lot of people who are watching now have seen me doing videos when I was drunk. Honestly, you see the video I posted yesterday, that I used to do that all the time. It was, you always can tell an addict by not just videos, but by the way they write on Facebook and that. So you do catch people out that way, and it's not about catching people, it's about actually addressing that situation and pointing them, saying, listen mate, you're going a wee bit, you know, is alcohol or drugs a situation that's going to help you? And in the short term it is going to help, and that's what you think, because you do feel confident, you do feel you can tell anyone everything. We all do it, you know, and it does make us calmer. But the more you drink and take drugs, the more your body gets tolerance to it, and more you have to take, and the more of a fucking idiot you become, you know what I mean? And that's when you're not just dealing with post-traumatic stress, you're not just dealing with mental health, you're actually dealing with a full-blown addictions. And it is, when you get into addictions, it's so hard to get out. And if you don't have the right people or the right attitude to get out of it, it's goddamn hard. And I do wish I had people like who were in addictions or that, or in recovery, maybe years ago, telling me this is true, what's going to happen. And and maybe would have listened more. But when doctors told me this was going to happen or that was going to happen, I thought, fuck that, it's never going to happen to me. But it did. And in December 2019, I was diagnosed with chronic pancreatitis, and it's a horrible disease, but I caused it. And people keep saying to me, right, you need to go into hospital, you need to go into hospital. I leave it to the last minute because I'm ashamed, because it was actually my fault why I'm going into hospital. Do you know what I mean? I was the one that drank. I chose. Nobody forced me to drink. I did. I caused the damage, and going into hospital now, it's hard for me. And I have spoke to the nurses here, and they're so nice to actually talk to, and I've had this conversation, because at Northern Ireland, I've said to you yesterday, Northern Ireland's actually got one of the highest addictions rate in the whole United Kingdom. I didn't know that. Bella told me that, and I've been talking to the nurses. It's really bad. There's no services out here. Majority of people who want to get out of addiction need to go to the mainland. And a lot of them didn't hear about Tom Harrison House. I'm quite disappointed in that not many veterans groups are pushing that out there, because that is a lifeline to many folk. I'm quite disappointed in that. There's a few groups that I work with, and we do push it out because it is a help. But it's not just veterans, it's the civilian community too. They're shutting hospitals down. They're making an outreach which is going to make it the person hard to come off the substance or get help with their mental health. And I had a discussion the other day with people saying, right, yeah, this guy's got PTSD, what can we do for him? But he's drinking and he's taking drugs. So how are you gonna help a guy taking drugs or alcohol? You can't. You cannot help somebody with mental health issues until they address the drugs. And when you do a rehab, you're actually not just addressing your substance, you're actually addressing why you drink and why you do it. So you're actually tackling your mental health at the same time, which a lot of people don't realise. So it's not just go and sit in the room and, well, what does alcohol do to you? And I know there's a couple here now who's in Tom Harrison House. I'm not going to name them, and they'll tell you the exact same. We don't sit there and say what alcohol does to us. We sit there and tell why we drink, what it does to our mental health. We talk about our traumas, what we never spoke about in the past. That is what a proper rehab should be doing, not people paying $8,000, $10,000 for a 4-week bloody rehab when they're going to learn nothing. In a private place, and I disagree with these private places who want to charge people ridiculous money for a 4-week rehab. There's no hope for the person. And I would love to see the statistics on successful recovery. I would love to see it's the same with NHS. No disrespect to the NHS, because they are really good in everything they do, but it's not their fault. When it comes to detoxes or the rehab, it's textbook. It's basically done out of a book. So it's basically people who's just come out of university, where I've personally witnessed in Tom Harrison House, former addicts doing the course, who are now therapists and who are now counsellors, works because they do have that understanding of what you're going through. So when you tell them that, yeah, I did this when I was drinking this and I was drinking, they can tell you, yeah, I do know what you're coming from, because I've been there, and that's what we need in the communities. We all need to be there for one another. Christmas time, lonely part of the time. It's coming up Christmas, we've got the lockdowns going on. I don't matter what anyone says about this COVID, right? Keep that to the side. There's time and places for that, Let's think about how you're going to get through this next few weeks. I know Scotland's went back onto another lockdown as well. How are you going to cope in the weeks, especially if you've got an addict, mental health issues? Keep yourself busy is one thing. If one thing does not work, try something else. Always look out for your body and that. There's loads of comments coming up. I'm trying to get through them, But honestly, I can do it without all your support, but use passing the message on as well. If you're liking and sharing, use passing the message on as well. And that passing the message on could help one person. One person could be sitting there with a drink, and that rehab or that AA or CA could be planted in somebody's head. They might not take it or say anything there and then. It might take them weeks, might take them years. But that seed's been planted in their head that there could be a possible future of recovery, which is hard going. And I know there's people who's watching now who've seen loved ones and friends and my family who've seen me going through it. And it's horrible in the families and partners as well. You know, Bella's been so supportive of me. I don't deserve the amount of support she gave me after me being a cunt. I don't know how many times. But she has been my saving grace, and I adore her to bits. I love her to bits, and I'm really lucky to have somebody who has that understanding of me as well and sees me in a different way, because it's quite hard in recovery, because you do have the tendencies of your bad habits from addiction, so you always think negative to protect yourself. Where, say, just for example, if I was going to court, I would think, fuck, I'm getting to jail. So mentally, I'm prepared for that. And when it happens, I take it on board, and that's me. If it came out of the blue, I'd be devastated, you know. But, guys, we need to keep looking out for each and one another. We really do. Especially this time of year, winter, lockdown, Christmas coming up, there's going to be people who are lonely, people who just want a phone call. Even one text phone call will help someone, you know. Like, there's people probably sitting there thinking nobody cares about them. That one phone call, one text could help someone, you know. We all sit there and say that we need to do more. Well, let's do more. Pick up your phone and say, like, I know guys here do body checks. That's fantastic. Let's get everybody else doing that. And make sure if you see somebody who's having a low moment, just get in there and talk to them. You know, I mean, there's a lot of groups out there who do a lot of good things out there. A lot of groups do it for different agendas. I'm not going to go into who the best and who the worst is. It's not about that, and it's not about competition. In the end of the day, it's about somebody's life. It's about somebody actually getting the rest of their life and trying to have some normality in life. You know, they deserve that every day. Like, we all make mistakes in life. How many mistakes have we all done in our life, right? If somebody has not done a mistake in their life, by God, you must have the perfect life ever. You know, we all make mistakes, and we have to face the consequences. Now I'm facing the consequences through my illness. I can't sit there and blame whoever. That's my fault, you know. It is scary. It is really scary, because today I've been moved on. My diabetes has gone worse. So I have to kind of listen to doctor's orders and that. But yeah, as well as that, I'm quite positive, because I've joined forces with Family for Veterans, with Gary and Craig. I'm looking forward to that, being like an addictions advisor as well. It's the next step in my journey. Bella's there, and Louise as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to working with a good team, and helping others as well, because that is the main thing, is helping people, not sitting there and taking the praise for it, helping them, getting them into the right place for them. You know, seeing an alcoholic, seeing an addict get into rehab and having a really successful rehab, it is a joy. But you know what even better is a joy, is seeing the family having the sigh of relief, that they don't have that thought of the police are going to come to my door and say my son or daughter is dead. But rather they get a phone call and say, Mum, Dad, I'm graduating. That is the best part, you know. And I'm going to thank everybody for who stay tuned. Bella, hopefully I'll be back soon. Love you to bits. And Craig, Gary, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on board with you. Obviously, I still support any other charities, groups. I'm not a one-man bandit. I like to help people, help groups, you know. But my focus in the next week or so is getting myself back out there, out of hospital, because the last time I said I was only going to be in for a few days, and I was in for 2 weeks. At the moment I'm sitting at 7 days, near enough. But guys, let's stick together. No arguments, no bitching. Let's try and get through a week by loving, caring, just sharing your emotions with people. You know, don't feel alone. Don't feel like a burden if you're going to text someone. You're not a burden. That person might want to hear from you. There's a lot. I've got to do it myself. You know, it's part of my recovery. And there's people here, I bet you, that need to maybe send a wee message to someone and say, right, how you going on, pal? You know, one text can actually brighten up somebody's day, and it could help them. So, yeah, Lisa, I'm going to be taking it a bit easy. But thanks, guys. John Taylor, I know you're on. Haggis, God bless you all. Love you all. Stay safe. I will keep you updated. And God bless you all. And if anyone needs anything, do message me. Take care.